I was like teasing with the volume first. Now they can hear you, but they can't see you. But
Oh, okay.
now they can see you.
Oh, I see.
See, are you nervous? You're nervous. She's nervous,
So
everybody.
loud.
So hold on here. Let's bring that down so people can see you. I'm just
Okay.
going to bring the microphone up.
Perfect.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the Local Bizcast. I'm Dr. Pete, and I'm here with my very special guest this morning. It's Stacey Bender, but we're going to call her NutriGirl from now on because we're definitely going to have to find out what NutriGirl is all about and how you came up. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. She's super nervous, guys. So we're going to have to just kind of, I mean, everybody
Ease
gets
into
nervous.
this.
Yeah,
This is
but
my first one.
is this your first one?
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
Well, good. We're going to break your podcast cherry and you're going to start doing these all the time. And there you go. So, but welcome.
Thank you.
So, you guys may not know, I know Stacey for a little while because we are in town together in Woodcliff Lake, and her son and my son are in the same grade. They play every single sport together. We spend a lot of time together. So this is not just purely professional. We have some kind of a personal relationship as well. But that is not why we are here. We are here because this is NutriGirl, guys. So tell me a little bit about yourself. Tell everybody, but you got to get closer to the mic.
Okay.
There you go.
So my journey to NutriGirl started working actually in the advertising business. I worked for about 10 years selling ads and buying ads. I sold the kids programming block on CBS on Saturday morning. And it was a lot of pushing marketing towards kids, all this junk food. And I was always interested in health. I took a course at Institute for Integrative Nutrition and became a holistic health counselor. And I was doing that at the same time I was selling ads. And
that doesn't seem to like have a marriage over there. What is that? How did you get into that?
Well, I was always interested in health because as a child growing up, I grew up in a house where there was a lot of eating weight challenges. There was a lot of body image issues when I was younger. And so I was always thinking about my health and worrying about my health and thinking about my body. So I ended up taking that course and becoming a holistic health counselor. And I learned a lot of things that I didn't know growing up. Like I grew up in the 80s and 90s. And in the 80s and 90s, they were just pushing low fat and, all these foods that, margarine.
Remember margarine? I mean, those people never even got arrested for all the false science that they put out there knowingly. I can't even believe it. So
I know.
Remember, eggs were bad. Eggs were good. Eggs were bad. Eggs were good. Low cholesterol, low fat. What was the one in the Doritos? Olean or something like that? Remember that was like killing people? Olestra, that was it. Exactly. Oh my God. You guys remember that stuff? Oh, but yeah, we had no idea.
So we had no idea really, what was good for you. They just pushed like SnackWells and, those things are horrible. It's just a bunch of sugar without any fat, any protein. So I really got interested in, learning what was better for you. And I just wanted to learn more. So I decided, to go back and become a registered dietitian. I got my master's in food systems for NYU.
You made a complete pivot.
Yes.
So hold on. So like a little bit of a background. We were just talking about this before we came on air. So you went to Wash U in St. Louis.
Yes.
Undergrad in what were you? What did you do?
Marketing and business.
Of course.
I didn't know what I wanted to do. I just said I'll just do business. I'll find something with
Fine. That. Then you came back this way, or to the Northeast. Went to NYU for graduate school for marketing and advertising.
No, that was for my art. I had to go back and get a post-bac. So I could become a dietitian.
Got it. Okay.
So I had to take a lot of like science classes, biology, chemistry, all of that.
Oh, welcome to my world. Must have been tough coming from like a marketing and advertising background because you made
a lot of math though. I mean,
that's true. That's true.
So it was good, and I always loved science growing up. And so I kind of just.
That's a huge pivot, though. I'm very impressed. I don't know if I would have had that in me, right? So I've always had this route, and you're like, let me just go into real estate. I'm like,
it was because at the point where I was in college, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And
nobody does.
And I feel like you have to just decide, and no one really knows. And a lot of people make changes along the way. I mean, I hear it all the time that, they used to be a teacher and now they're doing something like with
Yes.
tech,
You're
they,
doing it. We talked about this a couple of times on this podcast, right? And it was cool because we have Jen Erity from town as well, and she has this internship program because we were talking about it. Like, let's get these kids to intern, high school seniors to intern. Because they're like, yeah, I want to become a doctor. And then they come and work at a doctor's office and they're like, I hate blood. And it's like, most of the time you go through 3 years of college and then you realize that. So that's a lot of time wasted, a lot of money wasted and stuff like that. So that was a good idea. And then we had Steve Fox in talking about even internships just go out there and ask for internships and find out what you want to do. If you had that, who knows what would have happened? But you needed to get this path to get to Nutrigirl. I'm going to say Nutrigirl 1,000 times. I can't wait. All right. So I apologize. I'll digress.
No,
You went back. So NYU, became a registered dietitian.
Yes. And I guess, so yeah, so I became a registered dietitian and kind of also at the same time started my family. So, because I was like, I was 30 years old as I went back to school. So I had 3 kids. And that's how we met. That's how we know each other. And I've been busy doing that and kind of doing after COVID. I, kind of pushed myself to like go back to work, start something. But I think I really have always wanted to work for myself and be an entrepreneur. So I started my practice. And
you called it Nutrigirl right off the bat?
I called it Nutrigirl.
By the way, any opportunity I can throw it in there, I'm throwing it in there. I just want you to know.
Actually, I called it Nutrigirl because during grad school, for my thesis, I wrote a book and I called it Nutrigirl. It's a book about nutrition for kids.
Hold on. Let's take a look right here. Look. All right. You see it? There it is. I can't move this over there. No, nothing I can do. I can look at this. Oh, hold on. Wait. There we go.
There we go.
Boom.
So these are the 2 main characters, Nutrigirl and Phoebe. And the book, it's graphic novel style because that's what really kids are interested in these days. And it really focuses on all different, there's a lot of different characters and each character has a different food persona. So so Phoebe, the main character, she grows up in a house where her mom has like all this healthy food and won't give her any, junk food. And there's a character in the book who her parents let her eat whatever she wants. And a character in the book who might, borderline have an eating disorder, things like that. But it also has this overarching theme about the food system with Nutrigirl and sugarcane. They kind of have it out, and there's a whole.
I'm completely invested in this. I know you guys are gonna have to read the book. Are you kidding me? That's so you did this as your thesis. That's how it all began.
And it's partly illustrated. So my illustrator, Jose Fragoso, he lives in Spain. He's
Jose, a little shout out to you. I hope you're watching in Spain. This is definitely not 8:30 in the morning there. It's like 2:00 in the afternoon, right? So
he did an excellent job. So I just wanted to
put it out there.
His name out there. He is also an author, illustrator too. He has a lot of books.
Nice. It's good collaboration over there.
Yeah, it was nice. Yeah.
So this is all from your kind of growing up. This is your personal experience because I grew up on Entenmann's cake.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
I mean, literally, it was Entenmann's, and my mother is still probably eating the same Entenmann's cakes that she ate in the 1970s.
Yeah, no, we had definitely had those in my house too. My parents let me eat, kind of whatever I wanted, but my mom used to be concerned about my weight and how I looked, and a lot of, I think a lot of families are like that. It's not just my family. You hear so many. You hear about so many eating disorders these days, especially because there's so much food out there and what to eat and what not to eat and what's in the food. And a lot of parents are skeptical about, should my kid eat this? And should my kid not eat that?
Did our parents not have to go through that though?
No, they did. But I think that
less options.
There's a lot more.
Less influencers.
Yes, correct. And also there wasn't a lot of food companies put a lot of things in our food that, if we don't even know what it is, you can't even pronounce it half the time. There's a lot of chemicals in our food. The FDA in our country allows more food dyes and preservatives than they do abroad. Like,
Yeah, it's
even the
crazy.
same company. So, like Kellogg's Fruit Loops in the United States is different than Kellogg's Fruit Loops in Germany.
It's
So,
even different than the Kellogg's Fruit Loops in Canada, our neighbors to the north. So you're obviously, I'm a
correct.
holistic provider, and we talk about this all the time. I don't want to get shut down, but it is true. And it is something that obviously some new people in health and human services are going to try to fix, because if you
Yeah.
can make it healthier for Canada, you can
Why-
make it healthier for us.
Right.
Why do
can't
we
it make
allow
it
this? And
healthy?
we already know the science is out there that these dyes, they're either carcinogenic or other bad things that can happen to us.
No,
And yet they allow. And
definitely.
you have some background from the industry you were talking about, even in media buy and all that kind of stuff. That
Yeah, that well, even just the advertising the junk food to kids, like they don't do that in other countries.
Right.
Like, I mean, they say like from 10, from 7 to 10 p.m. they're not going to advertise junk food to kids because they don't know that kids don't know about nutrition yet. They
Yeah.
don't know what's in their food. They don't know if that's going to be healthy for them. But they, they use cartoon characters to advertise to kids
Of
too
course.
on the boxes, on the cereal boxes. So
right. And the psychology of a supermarket too, right? They're going to put the
at the
sugar
level,
cereals on the eye
at the eye
level of
level
them,
of a
and we all
child.
know that.
Correct.
This is no secret. The industry, we're getting all your secrets out there so that we can make a healthier nation over here. That's for sure. So I have so many questions I want to ask, but I know you want to say stuff. So keep on going, because I can stop.
Go.
But like, so for example, problems that we all have is our kids, they don't eat, like some of them don't eat. And what are the answers to that? Like, oh, well, they have to eat something, so eat just chicken nuggets and French fries all day long. I mean, uh, Kelly and I are very strict. My wife is functional medicine. We were very good. Our kids are very good eaters. My son would prefer to go have a salad at the lunchroom than the hot dog,
That's
and I think it's
awesome.
amazing. He goes, "Let me have some salmon," and I'm like, "I don't know whose child this is. It's amazing." But most people, and I talk to all my friends and I yell at them, which is definitely not the way to do this, to stop letting them eat sugar. Well, they have to eat something. There's always their excuse. So what do you have to say
I
about
know.
that portion?
I mean, it's really hard, but a lot of times, making things fun, making it exciting. Like my daughter loves when I make, she loves when I make these fruit kebabs, the little marshmallows, like, doing things like that, or, changing up the way you cook something.
Getting them involved, even young.
Exactly. Getting them involved is really important. My kids love to cook with me. They love to bake. They love to make chili. They love to make,
Who doesn't love to make chili? Hold on a second. Love to make chili. Don't you just throw that in a crock pot, let it go? I mean,
well,
I'm
yeah.
just messing with you. No, so, but yeah, I mean, this is I'm very intrigued. Obviously, in my profession, we're one of the more holistic and more health conscious providers out there, medical providers. We've always been kind of almost looked down upon because we're always talking about prevention and maintenance versus trying to fix a problem that's already there. So instead of what do they call it? Intervention, we talked about prevention. Problem is, the business of healthcare, they don't pay for that.
Correct.
So
yeah. Like, oh, people always ask me, oh, do you accept insurance? No, I don't take insurance because they wouldn't pay it out.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Yeah.
how
Because
talk?
a lot of what I do is prevention. So the past, 2 years, I've been, seeing teenagers privately, clients, but I thought that not that I thought, between talking to parents and working with these kids, I realized that they were busy. They didn't have a lot of time. They also didn't, have the patience to like sit down for 45 minutes with me. That it would be better if they could do something that's more self-paced, where they could still learn about what I wanted to teach them, but also do it on their own time, and also in a community basis. Because a lot of times when you're, going through something, whether it be an eating disorder, or you want to lose weight or something like that, like it's nice to have a community. So I'm launching a course called Balanced Bodies, and it starts in January, and the doors close January 7th. So, and I'll start the following week. And it's a self-paced course. It's a beta course. This is a beta launch. And so it kind of, if you sign up, you're it's, I don't know.
You're going thick.
Yeah,
It's kind of like what's going on right over here because
yes.
this is like a little beta. You're just learning as you
It's
go, but you'd
exactly.
be
We're learning as
surprised.
I go. I want to make sure like you're getting what you need and I'm doing, what you want. So it'll, yeah.
Do you find is it more community? Is it more accountability? It's almost like a competitive thing if there's other people there.
It's not supposed to be competitive. It's just supposed to be more of, I guess, accountability, but also, supportive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say it's having
You have a team of
support
people helping. Yeah.
yeah. So it's nice to hear someone else's perspective that's in your same shoes.
Got it.
Sorry.
No worries. All right. Well, talk a little bit more about what NutriGirl is because that's the business, right? NutriGirl is the business, and I see your Instagram posts and a lot of it in the kitchen and preparing foods and talking. So, NutriGirl, you said you kind of started that. You had the idea very early, but you started it, went to NYU, kind of created NutriGirl then.
Yes.
And so, what is NutriGirl now?
So she's like a brand. I mean, she is me, but she's my brand.
Yeah.
And she's, I have she's a book. She's a character in a book. I have a private practice. I see teens, but I also see, anyone of all ages. I work with people that have diabetes, obesity. So it's private practice, and I'm also launching this course. So I'm kind of going as I go. This is a startup business.
Yep.
And I see a lot of people locally, but I'm hoping to expand. And
is it Zoom? Is it how do you?
Yeah, it's all of my counseling is virtual through Zoom, and I usually, if people come for me for nutrition counseling, it's, they sign up for packages, and we meet once a week, and kind of it's just mostly nutrition counseling.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm proud of you as an entrepreneur myself, and the whole idea of this local bizcast, and we were talking about this like behind the scenes type of stuff. I'm proud of you because you're doing things. You said, "Oh, we're going to try this. We're going to try this," and I think it is so important when building a business that what do they call it? Perfection paralysis. You can't do that, right? And what you can do is you can start to do something, and it could work, and you could be great. Let's go ahead and refine it, or it could not work. Great. Let's go ahead and pivot. And it seems like you're a pivoter because I mean, you know what I'm saying? So I'm actually quite impressed because I didn't know the history about this and so it really is impressive that you're doing this, whether it be the book or the course or whatever it may be. I think it's very, very cool. And I think a lot of people can learn entrepreneurial, like you have to do something.
You have to take action.
Take action.
That is the most important thing.
Just do something.
Yes.
I always quote movies on here, and I don't remember what movie it was. I think it was Forgetting Sarah Marshall. She's like learning how to surf. You got to do something other than nothing. No, now you're doing nothing. You have to do something. So,
well, I'm definitely always doing something
there
and moving, and like with the teens, like I realized like this one-on-one is just not working. Like I'm gonna, build this course, which I think will be better for that population, and I really want to support them, and because I struggled at that time, and that's why I really wanted to work with teens, and I just want to make sure I give them something, a space where they feel comfortable and they can learn and they can develop these skills and use them for their life, you know. And
you're saying so you had a tough time at it growing up. And I have to only imagine it's got to be even tougher now with social media and everybody out there who's a supermodel, and you're trying to kind of catch up to that and everything like that. A lot of that stuff is fake and edited and whatnot, but the pressure is still real.
Still there, yeah. So definitely, there's definitely a weight stigma. I mean, it's gotten a little better, but it's still always out there. So
would you say that teens are your target audience? I mean, I know you'll work with everybody and children.
Yeah, no, so I do, but I usually target parents when, I'm online, I'm on Instagram because, it's the parents' decision. The parents are cooking the food and going grocery shopping. And that's why part of the course is also parent focused because they need to purchase those items. They need to learn how to meal plan. And be supportive and learn exactly, what your child's learning so that they can also continue to, what's the word I want to say?
Progress.
moving forward,
Yeah, yeah.
progress, and be there. And like, so a lot of my program is intuitive eating. So there's 3 pillars.
Here we go, guys. I got her. I can pull it
got-
right out of
oh
her.
my
It makes me excited.
So first, your basic like nutrition foundations, where you're learning, about food labels and balanced plates and junk food versus real food. And real food is a real focus for me because we discussed before how, the food system, the FDA is putting all this, all these this junk in our food.
The fact that the food pyramid gets changed based off of the lobbyists who are putting the things in there, right? So
Correct.
it's like a food pyramid is a food pyramid. It's not supposed to change because there's more profit to be made. That's crazy.
And the FDA won't criticize the food companies. They won't. It's really
who
hard.
pays for the FDA?
Yeah.
No. Well, we can't get into that. So allegedly, we don't want to get shut down. But go ahead.
So,
3 pillars.
Anyway, so that's the basics, and then the next is empowered eating, where I'm like teaching. Especially, this is really a focus for parents, where we're learning about meal planning and grocery shopping and snack ideas, and I guess, mostly how to, plan your food, mindful eating, that type of thing. The third pillar is where I get into more of the mindset and intuitive eating, and focusing on hunger, fullness cues, on food rules, emotional eating, things like that. That's where a parent needs to know these things so that they could, use the same mindset as your child is learning to move forward.
Got to be on the same wavelength.
They have to be on the same page.
Yep.
That's what I'm saying, because otherwise it's just not going to work. There's not going to be a change if the parent's not on board too.
And I'm sure, just like my profession, everybody is unique and everybody's journey is different and everybody's body is different. But are there some general rules that people can just follow? And I'm being selfish right now because I need to know what to do with my kids. So let's start younger. Let's start with adolescents, and 7, 8, 9, 10 years old and stuff like that. And
so, what I do with my daughter now, we focused on the plate, just very simple, and making sure that she has a protein and she has a healthy fat and she has fiber. So 3 things. And she's 7 years old, and she's getting it. She knows, and it's something that we always bring up. And if she doesn't, like, do you have, where's the protein, and then she's like, oh, Mom, she's like, all right. She's like, I'll have some cashews. I'll have some nuts.
And she knows it.
Yeah.
That's so cool. All right. So what about people who are a little bit behind the 8 ball because they don't have a mom like you and they don't know anything about this and their kids don't eat anything but grilled cheese or something like that? Like, what is some advice? And I'm talking to a few friends out there. If you're watching, I know I'm talking about you. I'm just saying. But how do we get them to eat some more healthier things, other things?
Okay. So I say always start small with anybody, because whether you're 90 or you're 7, because to make a change for anyone, it takes time. Like, it takes 4 weeks for an adult to make a change. So as a kid, it probably will take a little bit longer. Could be either way.
Either way, yeah. All right.
But I suggest, small achievable goals. So you want to pick like one thing to change. So maybe you want to, they only eat grilled cheese. Well, maybe add something to that too. I like to add. So maybe say you'll have grilled cheese, but you'll also have broccoli, and you're going to add one thing, but you could still have your child have their grilled cheese.
Okay.
They feel comfortable with that.
And if that's they fight you and they only eat their grilled cheese and they leave their broccoli on the plate,
they probably will in the first few times.
Right.
But you got to try it like 15 times.
There we go. So, you heard it here first. You got to keep on going. All right. Yeah. I like that. So, but just a basic education, knowing what protein, fat, and carbohydrate is, knowing what is healthy and not healthy. It's crazy, but people don't necessarily know.
No, people don't. Yeah.
And this is
especially kids. They don't really know. They don't teach that in school. They just know that their food comes from a box. I used to think when I was a kid, I'd be like, I don't understand why my food is in a box.
Right.
It's so odd. Like,
I don't even think I even thought about that. I think I just went straight to, I don't care. I'm like, I'm just eating all this Entenmann's, of course. But, I can't say that because I don't want to throw my mom under the bus. For dinner, it was always, we had a salad, a piece of melon. It was just my sister, if she's listening to this, will probably start laughing. We always had this little salad on everybody had those same glass salad plates with the little design on it and everything like that. And then my mother would give us a wedge of either honeydew or or what's the orange one? Melon.
Can't
Cantaloupe. Thank you. God, I don't know. I just
Cantaloupe.
want a brain fart over there. So and I'm like, it was every day. And then I always wonder why my father used to have like the jars of like hot peppers or stuff like that, because my mother didn't understand what seasoning was, and she would put the thing in the oven like on the broiler for like 5 hours to make sure everything was cooked perfectly so that we didn't get a disease. And my father just couldn't stand the taste of it, so he always had to match it up and everything like that. So, but I mean, for breakfast and lunch, it was Entenmann's cakes, and that was no good. And I didn't know any different. So how do you help somebody who doesn't know any different?
Well, you see someone like me.
There you
so
go.
That's a way to do it. You can, learn online. There's lots of, books and things like that. But coming to see a dietitian is a really great way to do it. And it's starting with your plate. I think that's the most basic thing to do is start with your plate, especially if your kids are really young.
Yeah. All right. Well, there you go.
So.
Start with the plate. And I like that because I feel like the visual absolutely helps. But another thing, by the way, there's only 6 minutes left. Do you see how quickly this goes?
I know.
Are you still nervous or no?
I've loosened up.
No. Like it's almost like we could do another 20. But
Yes.
the balanced bodies, I think we want to talk a little bit more about that. That is the program. It's coming up in January. It's coming soon to a theater near you. But so talk about that. Who are you looking for? Who is a candidate? How do they get in touch with you? What do they have to do?
So if your child is a teenager, teenager or young adult even, that's who is a great candidate. And it's basically, a basic program to learn how to, eat right for life, kind of. And not just, yes, if you want to lose weight, also great. If you want to, if you have some disordered eating issues, it's also good because, or if you're borderline, you're worried your child might have that, this is a great program as well for you, because it just focuses on the basics of, nutrition, how to eat intuitively, and it's a beta course right now. So I'm kind of designing it for you. You're going to be starting from the ground up and kind of shaping what this is going to be like. So it's at a very low introductory rate. Great Christmas gift.
There you go.
Hanukkah gift.
Perfect. If you guys
cheaper than an iPhone. So
excellent. There you go. Much more valuable too.
More priceless.
Right.
And I think it's going to be about 6 to 8 weeks. I say 6 to 8 weeks because I'm not exactly sure.
Right. And you said it's at their own pace type of thing as well?
Yes, and they can do it at their own pace, but there'll be weekly calls. So those would be group calls with me, where I'd be emphasizing what you learned that week, and also answering any questions and kind of, building this group community in those calls. So
I like that. I like that. So, what if there is on the opposite side, somebody, for example, I can only imagine, I didn't go through this, but I can only imagine the mindset is like, people don't want people to know that they have issues, this, that, the other thing, and they want to be a little bit more anonymous. Is there an opportunity for anonymity? And
so, yeah, you could definitely sign up for the course and not come to the group calls, but I wouldn't recommend that. And I know it could be nervous to, be a part of this community at first, but just like I was nervous to come here, sometimes you just, push yourself a little bit, or you come one time.
See, you're throwing some entrepreneurial pearls out there. Let me tell you.
Even come one time and just listen. You don't have to have your video on because there are Zoom calls, and you can see what it's like. And kind
just
of go
make
from
the
there.
first
just take action.
Step. Just take action. I used to tell, I used to have to make like cold calls in order to build my business. And so when I would get nervous to pick up the phone, I would just grab it quickly and go, and just give myself the opportunity. I would have to speak in front of like 150 people the first time. I would speak in 150 people. Now I can speak in front of thousands. But the first time, if you don't think that all those public speakers get nervous, they do. They just go. So the advice is just go. Make the decision and go. Even if you're nervous or anything like that. You're here to help. They're here to help.
Yeah, no, I am. I just want to help. And I know what it's like to feel that way. And I know you don't want anyone to know that you think about that you're worried about your body, or that you don't know what to eat, or maybe you eat emotionally, or which many people do, and no one talks about it.
Right.
So.
And again, you've had this background, whether you could talk about it from your personal experience. And I think that comes through, by the way. I think the passion and the authenticity comes through. You've been through this, and you kind of, even if you didn't have the same route as somebody else who's struggling, you'll have the idea as to
Yeah.
what's going on. And I think that's really cool. So, all right. So
Exactly.
balanced bodies,
Yeah.
that's starting in January. We covered NutriGirl, the book. This is available? Or
So,
talk to me. We
no.
we have a need.
I do have a need.
Ladies and gentlemen, on the local
So-
bizcast, this is when you have to listen because we have a need, and that's what we were trying to do here. Go ahead, talk to
Yes.
me.
So I have this book. It's partly illustrated. 2 chapters are illustrated, and I am looking to have it published. So it's been pretty hard over the past years to get it published because I guess you have to have a literary agent, but you can't get a literary agent
Without being published,
being
you can't get
published.
published
It's like a
without having a literary.
catch-22.
Yes.
So I'm constantly looking for someone that works in children's publishing. So thank you for having me on
Of
the
course.
podcast.
Ladies and
because-
gentlemen, who's out there, we're looking for a publisher, a literary agent, or some kind of agent in between that can help us get this book published. I know you're out there. There's people out there. Even if you are not that person, you may know that person. We have to help NutriGirl. I mean, I almost see you as having a cape. Like I don't. I just.
Yeah.
It's like NutriGirl needs to fly, guys. We need
She
all the
does,
help in the
because
world.
the younger that they learn about it, the younger the kids learn about it, the better off it'll
The whole
be.
society gets
Yeah.
healthier and happier. And you did
So
great.
important.
What do you think? That was it. It's over. It's like literally we have 50
It was
seconds left. I have to
great.
do.
We did great. This was fun.
Isn't it fun?
Yeah. Thank you for having. This
You're
is such
welcome.
a great, wonderful community outlet for
That's
small
it.
businesses. Thank you so much.
It's my
Yeah.
pleasure. Ladies and gentlemen, Stacey Bender, NutriGirl. Come on, we got to help her out. So, first off, I forgot to say this in the beginning, and of course, my friend Dr. Stevie G needs to always remind me. But if you are liking this, and if you don't like it, I don't care. Please hit like, please subscribe. YouTube Live, Spotify. We need all the help. Let's build this up and trying to help more people as much as possible. Local Bizcast. We are taking the next 2 weeks off. It just so happens that Wednesday mornings are the local bizcast, and next Wednesday is Christmas, and the following Wednesday is New Year's. So we are going to be taking these next couple of weeks off. But I want to hear from everybody. I want to hear who you want on, who you want to listen to, questions, comments, concerns. So please go on the local bizcast, ask questions. Let's see what we could do. Ladies and gentlemen, have a wonderful Christmas. Happy holidays. Happy Hanukkah. Happy everything. Happy New Year. Stacey, have a wonderful happy holidays.
Everyone.
NutriGirl. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you next time on the local bizcast. Take it easy. I wish I had like outgoing music.